Okay, so we're going to move on and actually work on loading the character up and pushing us over to the actual game. As you can see here, I've created another character just to show loading up different characters. Right, so when we last finished, we ended with changing the attribute on that link here to we're changing the on-click event to load character final, and inside that we're embedding the character ID that we're loading. And just one thing to note, on the attribute you must use the correct capitalization, so it's a lower on followed by a capital C for the click, otherwise the attribute doesn't register properly and it just doesn't work. So we're going to create this new function of load character final. We've got our variable in there, and we're going to send over an AJAX request which will confirm that our character is belongs to the account that we're logged into, and it sets up another session and then will push us over to the game itself. Okay, so in our AJAX function we're sending over post information to our character box function page. We're sending over a mode of character load followed by a variable of character load containing the ID of the session that we're sending over. They're the session, the character ID that we want to load. And on the success we just return a message. So if we go over to our function page, and we'll raise a new case of character load, break it off there, so we put in our prog replace and just change that to character load. We're getting from there because that's the ID we want. And our query is just going to be select character ID from user characters, where character ID will equal that character ID there, and account ID equals the session UID, and limit that to 1. And we'll just put all the appropriate markings on there as well. So once we've excuse me, we've set that query, we're going to execute it. And then we're going to do the if statement of if SQL num rows is more than 0, else if it's not, we're going to echo out a failure. So we'll deal with the failure first. We'll come back over here on success. If message equals pass, then we're successful, else we're going to just put out that same message in the open notifier alert box, just character load error. So if we do pass successfully, if that character is loaded, then we want to set up a new session, and we're just going to call this one character ID. We'll just call it CID equals the character ID there, and we'll just echo out pass. And just for testing, we'll just open notify and we'll say load successful. Can't spell. Something like that. Anyway, so when we come to reload, we'll load up our character and we click load character, and it comes up saying load successful. And again on our other one we say load successful. If we inspect the element here, and you see here it's got 2 because that's the character we're loading up. We change that to one that doesn't exist and click load character, we get a character load error. So now I think that's all we need for our character loading. We're now going to move on to the actual in-game itself, and we'll start setting up a layout for to contain all the information that we need to contain. So I'm going to cut this video off here, and we'll come back and work on the game itself in the next set of videos. So I'll see you then.